and he always taught me that handling complaints is something that is a knack, and it is something that you can turn into a massive positive if you handle it correctly. Rejection is exactly the same. We've all had it, especially in business, where we approach people, we tell them about certain things that we are doing and want them to have a look at it, and guess what? We get rejected, don't we? And how you handle that rejection really is going to help you with your business. So let's have a little look at it then. And this is obviously from a business point of view, not a personal point of view, but a lot of the things in here you can use obviously within your personal life as well. So rejection in business, whether from clients, investors, or partners, is a normal hurdle that requires emotional processing and strategic response. Knee-jerk reactions really aren't the best option as far as rejection is concerned. Many of us lose it sometimes. We fly off the handle. We often say things that we regret afterwards. And when rejection happens, it really is an art form and something that you have to learn how to handle. Successful entrepreneurs, and I firmly believe that every single one of you that is watching this now, whether it's live, whether it is on a recording, wants to be a successful entrepreneur. And this is where we need to view rejection as a chance to learn, not a personal failure, by seeking feedback, refining your approach for whether it is the product or the pitch or the terms that you are using. This is where we learn to adjust things, adapt to the market needs, and maintain persistence to find that right fit that suits you. So turning setbacks into fuel for growth rather than using rejection as something to sleek away from, to go and hide, to feel sorry for yourself, to not try again, to really go back into the shadows. This is not what we are looking at or looking for. If you are an entrepreneur, then you should take it as a stepping stone on your journey of growth, of learning, but more importantly, you and your business growing. Use that setback, use that rejection to adapt, to learn, okay, so that you can then use that as fuel for your growth. So some of the common reasons you get rejected, whether it's in business or in other areas, is the following: misalignment needs. The client or investor's needs, budget, or timing just doesn't match your offering. When they say no, it might not be anything to do with you, anything to do with what you are offering them. It just might not be the right timing for them. They might have had a bad day at work. They might have had some bad news. They financially might not be able to afford to do or pay for what you are offering. Plain and simple. This has no bearing whatsoever on you as a person or your product. It is all to do with that timing. So don't take it as a personal rebuff to your advances, to that investor, to that client. The timing in many cases just isn't right for you at that moment. This is why it is so important not to burn that bridge of rejection. If you have these people's information, make a habit of revisiting these people 3 to 6 months down the line to see how they are, to see if they are in a position where they might be interested once again. Don't just disregard that data. Don't disregard their no as a no in the future. And this is something that you will learn as you go along as far as your business is concerned. You may have a weak value proposition. What is that? It is maybe your pitch or your product needs clearer articulation of its unique benefits. This is all done by, guess what? Learning exactly what you are trying to do. This is learning your product, learning why it will benefit people, learning what makes it stand out from others that might have something similar. All of this is vitally important for your pitch to somebody so that it perks their interest for yours rather than something else. If you are somebody who hasn't got the full data about the product, the full list of what it can do, then you're putting yourself in a position where you are not giving yourself the best chance to get somebody interested in your product or service. This is why learning is so important about your product and service that you have in your hands. Poor timing. I said before, maybe the market or the other party just isn't ready for your solution that you are offering them at the time. But that rejection is not necessarily the end of the line for that person. Like I said, 3 to 6 months down the line, you can revisit these people with the same or different solution, and that timing might be ideal for them at that moment. Also, internal issues, a flawed business plan or poor partnership terms can be reasons for refusal from third parties, i.e. bad publicity for the business, etc., or that you are working for. All of this does help or does aid to people saying no. So how to handle and overcome rejection? The first and foremost, you must acknowledge and process emotions. Allow yourself to feel disappointed, but don't dwell on it. Obviously, every time you get a no, it is going to make you feel a little bit down. But don't dwell on it, because you should be looking forward for the next yes. Some people say, let's see how many no's I can get today. Rather than seeing how many yeses I can get, they turn that right the way round to give themselves that challenge of getting no's rather than yeses. Why am I telling you this? Because it makes it a much more positive pitch, because you're not feeling down about getting a no. You really are looking at the positives of that no rather than the negatives of it. So it is important of having that mindset of that no. Remember, understanding that no often reflects misalignment, not a lack of personal worth or the product that you are pitching to somebody. Seek feedback and learn. Ask for constructive criticism to understand why and use it to refine your strategy. If you get to find, or if you are talking to somebody about what you are trying to offer, that solution, that product, if they say no, be open, be honest, and ask them why. There's no harm in doing this. And if they say, I can't afford it, if they say, the time's not right and all the rest of it, these are legitimate reasons for them. If they say your product sucks, then that is a completely different scenario and something that you need to take back to the company that you are working for so that they have that feedback as well. If it is of a more personal nature, then you can adjust your pitch to how you are going to approach people in the future. Use that feedback in a positive manner. Stay persistent and positive. Rejection builds resilience and keep refining and moving forward rather than calling it a day and then not keep going. Remember, if you stop, you're not going to get to your goals. Persistence is key. Keeping going, continuing. This is the key for every single successful entrepreneur that has ever been there. Nobody fell onto something on the first go. Everybody has been through this ringer of rejection before to come out the other end successfully and be able to build big businesses. The last one then is focus on the right fit. Work with clients and partners who recognize your value, as this leads to greater fulfillment and, of course, success. It's also important to understand mindset shift. What is this? From failure to fuel. Use rejection as motivation to strengthen your value, proposition and offering. Basically, what you're doing is you are learning from your mistakes, learning from what doesn't work to what does work, and incorporating more of the what does work within your pitch to somebody about your product offering or solution that you are trying to sell. All of these things really do need to be taken on board as far as your learning is concerned, and shifting that mindset from a negative one to a positive one. Process of iteration. Recognize that numerous rejections often precede major successes, as seen in startup journeys. Remember, this is where I go back to somebody saying, how many no's can I get? The more no's you get, the higher the probability of the next one being a yes. And this is how to look at the positive side of the no's and the rejection, rather than thinking after 5 no's, that's it. No one's going to do it. Nobody's going to come on board. Nobody's going to use my product. Nobody is going to say yes. The more no's that you have, the more likelihood of the next one being a yes. Anyway, guys, I thought I'd bring that to the table today because we've all experienced rejection in one way, shape, or form. From a business point of view, many of us know exactly how that feels. It's how we learn from it. It's how we absorb it. It's how we go forward from it that is the key to our success. If you remember what I've told you now as far as rejection is concerned, and making sure that you learn from those rejections, then the next one will be a yes.